look, I thought overall, again, this team continues to, show a lot of grit, a lot of heart. I think represents the badge in the city of Philadelphia very well. Um, I thought the first half, when you really break it down, I thought we both kind of canceled each other out. Not a lot of clear-cut looks. Pretty even half. Credit to them. They come out in the second half and make a good play and have a little bit of pressure on us. Second goal's a shot from distance that kind of picked up speed from almost from the wet turf. But our guys showed again character to come back and score the 2 goals, score a third goal that is about as close as possible to being good. Still haven't seen a clear view that would say it wasn't good, but these are the breaks when the angles of the camera in our league for some reason are on an angle. It would cost like $8 to put one at the top of each 18, but no one wants to do that. So we never get real true angles. So I don't know if it was offsides or onside. So yeah, look, overall, again, showed a lot of heart. Could have won the game, could have lost the game, and overall a good point. And the guys will get some much deserved rest now.
Thanks, Jim. Jonathan Tannenwald.
Why don't we get first out of the way? What's up with Andre?
Yeah, took a goal kick. I think you guys saw obviously, and mishit it, and something went in the quad / groin area. It's unfortunate. He's had a lot of little unlucky moments this year and that have led to little injuries. So hopefully we can get it fixed with a little bit of downtime here. Not an easy thing for Oliver to come into. Obviously, we missed Andre a lot. I think guys picked up the defending a bit in his absence. Lots of blocks at the end of the game. Taking the last step and closing the ball down, making some big last-ditch tackles in the box, and coming out of here with a point. So can't tell yet, Jonathan. I hope it's not too bad, obviously, but something in the quad and groin area. We'll get some tests and probably have a clear answer for you. But hopefully it's not too bad. Even Andre, when I asked him, he wasn't sure how bad and the extent of it either. He just knew something was not right and had to come out of the game.
Michael, Laura, how important was that goal for him coming in as a substitute, coming off the injury? Something like that.
Yeah, it's a striker's goal, and that when another team makes a mistake, you have to punish them. You have to have that killer instinct to make them pay. And Mikel did. He still had a lot of work to do from the angle that he had. Obviously, unexpected mistake and a pass back that he was alert to and finished the playoff. And from that point on, shifted really the momentum of the game. We had that goal, then Kai's goal in pretty quick succession. Had the third goal that gets called back, which was tough, and had a 5-on-1 situation that we should probably execute on and do a little better on. So we'll get to work on those 5-on-1s in the practice field this week.
Joe Tanzi.
Hey, Jim. To go further on that goal, I mean, the disallowed goal, it feels like almost similar to the Cincinnati one where the angles and the offside. Yeah. And I mean, is that something you can be fixed? I mean, what do you think of that as a whole? Because it feels like there should be at least a better angle there, right?
Yeah, look, there's nothing harder than making those calls. I always hear that we're supposed to err on the side of the attackers and keep the flag down, and that's why we have VAR. But you can't blame Catherine for thinking it was offsides, right? But now when we go to the video, we should have a clear view one way or the other that is in line with where goals are scored, which is from the 18-yard line and in. And I'm not complaining about it because it's an even game that could go either way. Like I said, we could have won it or lost it, but let's have a view that's not from literally a blimp that's with a side angle shot. Let's have a view that's just straight across the 18-yard box where we can see and make these big decisions, because they're game-winning and game-losing decisions. And whether I win or lose on them, I'm not complaining about that part, but I think everybody wants to get them right. And look, the linesmen it is an impossible job. For anyone who's ever tried to do that, where you almost have to look at where a ball's played at the speed that these players are playing at, and then do you put it up, do you put it down? It's impossible. So let's get camera angles that help it. I know that you can tell me that the goal line technology costs millions of dollars, and I'll say, okay, that is a big expense to put that in every stadium. but you could literally have, I'm sure someone has Apple can make a $10 camera that just is stationary and we can get a good view straight across. So yeah, that's all.
Pat to George.
Hey, Jim, I don't want to harp on this, but MLS has the standard that if there is not a clear and obvious error in that call, they will not go to video review. I wonder if that design is frustrating at all from a coaching perspective, that is the standard.
Yeah, look, I don't want to make this about a referee thing, but again, what does clear and obvious even mean, right? What's clear and obvious to me might not be to the next human. So, yeah, a lot of millions of people watch 2.5 Men. I think it's the dumbest show ever. It's clear and obvious to me that it's terrible, but everyone watches it. So maybe I'm wrong, so we could go on and on what clear and obvious means. Again, not a referee rant at all, just more of a technology rant.
Jose Nunez.
Hi, Jim. Would love to hear. I know you've shared with us and through the press about just how important Carranza and Ua are in terms of what you do to shape the defense, right? That they're your first line of defense and making sure that they're not getting through and forcing them. How much did that caution on the 21st minute really affect your game plan on Carranza?
Yeah, it changes how anyone plays when you're on a yellow card early. Again, Julian gets so much out of his physicality, his pressing, and you could tell, he was very smart in how he had to do it. Obviously, we were proactive too with Jose, who was right on the edge of picking up a second yellow. Danny too. It's the difference between being able to go fully into a tackle versus, kind of being smart about how you approach things, never really leaving your feet when you're on that yellow card. So you lose a little bit of your aggression. I thought he still played great. Even on the yellow card, made some big plays for us. But overall, again, a lot of character from the entire group to come back and get a result.
And I have to ask, since no one else has asked it yet, the ending of that game where it ended, spot-wise and play-wise and feeling-wise, what's going through your head? What's going through the locker room right now, conversation-wise?
Yeah, I think they thought we were going to go to the corner and maybe just run the clock out, but a ball gets cut back, and now, our number 10 is at the top of the box with a couple options to play, and it's a mistake, where the whistle should not be blown in that instance. I think he realizes that. At the end there, when everyone surrounds the referee, I know guys are on yellow cards, so I'm just trying to get everybody out of there. I got one myself just for the situation, but I pulled everyone out just so that we don't lose any of them because they're a lot more important than I am.
Great, safe travels.
Jonathan Tenold.
Jim, those of us who spend too much time on social media had to deal with this week with a lot of people saying, oh, the Union aren't for real. They haven't done anything really serious on the road yet. All the teams they've played against on the road aren't any good, blah, blah. You're still the only undefeated team left in the league. And I'm not normally the cheerleader, obviously, but but what does it mean that you did come back and get the point and walked out of here and you're still the only undefeated team in the league?
Yeah, and then I'd add, Jonathan, 5 out of 7 on the road, right? So not an easy schedule either. So we'll get back home now for 2 games, 2 really tough games against Salt Lake and Seattle in quick succession. So we'll have to recover quickly. And I challenge the guys, let's push this thing as far as we can. Are we going to go on a run like Bayern Leverkusen, Jonathan? I'm not advocating that by any stretch, but let's see how long we can push it. At a minimum, whether it's people in the public think we're good or think we're bad, they will at least say we're tough to play against. I think that unequivocally across the board, there's not a coach or GM or fan in this league that would say we're an easy team to deal with and play against. So part of that is not losing, finding ways to turn losses into ties, ties into wins, and we'll look to try to continue to do that and really protect our home field. Because now, the middle to back part of our schedule, we get a lot of those home games in Subaru Park where we're pretty good to play against.
Todd Lewis.
Thanks, Nico. Jim, I know you've been saying the last couple of weeks now that you guys have 3 really good center backs in Jacob, Damian, and Jack. I'm just curious, so what goes into the decision where it looked like the Minnesota game, Jacob and Jack were building momentum, getting back to their old form. You go with a back 3 against Nashville. Now you go with Jacob and Damian, something you haven't done since Chicago.
Yeah, look, I thought, and I talked with Jack Elliott, and he was very professional about it. It's one of the few times in my coaching career where, I don't really have an answer to exactly why he was the one that was chosen to get a rest. The one thing is maybe in a game against Atlanta where it turns into a track meet a bit, Damian's ability to put out some fires and win those kind of crazy duels was something that we decided on. Again, Jack's going to start again for us probably in the next game. So I want these guys all on their toes already when they're called upon. But yeah, it's the first time I have to really look at a player and say, this isn't even fair, Jack. You know what I mean? So it's just, we can only play with 2 this week. We think that's the way to go against the personnel that Atlanta has. So a tough decision goes against you. All right. Just like some have gone against Jacob this year. Some have gone against Damian in certain instances. And now, every week they got to be ready to go. We're obviously going to miss Damian for a stretch at Copa America. So the idea of keeping them all fresh, all ready to go for the most important part of the season, which is the end, is something that I'll just say we learned a little bit about last year. I think I maybe drove Jacob into the ground and maybe that led to a surgery. So we'll be a little bit smarter about how we manage the minutes, but it certainly wasn't performance-based. Jack's been playing amazing for us. So is Jacob now in recent weeks, and Damian as well. So this is a good problem for a coach to have, and they're going to share the load until we get to the Copa America, and then we'll regroup and assess things and go from there.
And then the substitution of Oliver coming in for Andre, does that change your game plan at all going into half tied 0-0? Damian and Jacob both seemed like they were playing well in the first half with clearances, with coming off the line, reading the game well. Do they have to play a little less aggressive, or do they stick to the same game plan?
Well, this isn't anything to do with Oliver. It's not Oliver's fault that Andre is the best goalkeeper this league's had. You know what I mean? So that's not on him. So of course you're going to play a little more. I'll just say risk. You're willing to take a little more risk when Andre's behind you, right? So it does change things a bit. Oliver's come in now several times this year and done a great job for us, and we'll need that to continue. But he's still a young goalkeeper that's going to get better and better with time, right? These are the first times he's playing at this high of a level, right? I'm not disregarding college or the USL, but this is a level up, right? This is a national TV game against a really good attacking Atlanta team where you're out there and there's nowhere to hide. And he did a good job. Could him and Jacob maybe communicate a little better on the first goal and one of them maybe come for it? Yeah, I think we would agree with that. Would he want maybe that second one back? But that's still, you watch it and it's actually hit from a ways out, but it picks up some speed as it hits the turf. So he's going to learn in all these moments. It's not easy to go out there as a goalkeeper, as a sub. Nothing good can happen for him, right? Nobody's going to remember much of anything that he does unless it's a mistake. So he did a good job. And our team, after going down 2 goals, showed a lot of heart to get the goals back. And hopefully Andre's not out too long. And Oliver, we know, is more than capable of doing the job in his absence.
Final question will go to Musembi.
Thanks, Nico. Hi, Jim. After a hard-fought draw and still undefeated, any words for the fans as you look forward to coming back to Subaru Park in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, I guess my comment would be we can't wait. We've been away for too long. We had a lot of travel in Champions League. We missed them. We obviously had the unique situation where a game gets rained out, so we lost the Seattle game at home, which we would at least have under our belt. But 5 out of 7 on the road is really, really hard in this league. I like where we're at. Could some of the ties and wins this year still too? Of course. But like we've said, we've proven we're tough to play against. And at home, I know we're going to create chances. I know we're going to score goals. I know we're going to get the fans into the game, and we can't wait to be back home.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.